All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about something straight out of a horror movie, a parasite that literally pulls the strings of its host, turning it into a real-life zombie.
Take a look at this. You might think this ant is just, resting, but it's not. It's been completely hijacked. Some kind of internal invader has forced it to climb up high and lock its jaws in this death grip. And it's all for the benefit of its parasitic master.
So what's actually controlling this ant's final fatal climb? I mean, the answer seems obvious at first, doesn't it? Something must have gotten into its brain. But the real story, what science has uncovered, is way more fascinating and honestly kind of more terrifying than just a simple brain invasion. Okay, so section 1, the investigation. This is where it gets really interesting. Let's see how researchers figured this out. And it all started, as you'd expect, by looking inside the ant's head. So, for a long time, the obvious suspect was the brain. I mean, it just makes sense, right? If you want to control behavior, you go for the control center. The thinking was this fungus, Cordyceps, must be infecting the ant's brain to manipulate its actions. But then, when scientists actually looked, they found nothing. No fungal cells inside the brain at all. In a pretty stunning discovery, researchers at Penn State used these advanced 3D imaging techniques to get a good look inside an infected ant's head. And what they saw was that the brain was surprisingly intact, totally untouched by the fungus. And this is what they found instead. Now, this 3D reconstruction shows the reality of the situation. The fungus, which you see here in yellow, it completely bypasses the brain. Instead, it forms this incredible, massive network all throughout the ant's body, wrapping around and even invading its muscle fibers. That's the red stuff. It's everywhere but the brain.
Just how widespread is this network? Well, it gets to the point where the fungal cells can make up more than half the cells in the host's body, over 50%. As one researcher perfectly put it, the ant becomes a fungus in ant's clothing. It's basically just a shell, an exoskeleton being moved around by something else.
Okay, so this brings us to the next big question. If the fungus isn't in the brain, then how in the world is it controlling the ant with such terrifying precision? This quote from David Hughes at Penn State just nails it. He said it's almost like a puppeteer pulls the strings to make a marionette move. The fungus controls the ant's muscles. And that's exactly what's happening. The fungus is the puppeteer. That huge network we saw, it's physically connected to the muscles, pulling the strings to make the ant walk, climb, and bite. But that just raises another question, right? A puppeteer needs to know how to pull the strings. What tools is this fungus using? To figure that out, scientists had to zoom in even closer to the invisible chemical conversation happening between the fungus and the ant.
So, how'd they do it? Well, they infected ants in the lab, watched for that classic zombie-like climbing and biting, and then, at that critical moment, they used a really powerful technique called transcriptome analysis. It's basically like eavesdropping on the genetic conversation. They could see which genes were being switched on or off in both the ant and the fungus during the manipulation. They were literally listening in on the puppeteer's commands.
And what they heard was pretty mind-blowing. The fungus was unleashing an absolute barrage of chemicals. And one of its key weapons seems to be a class of molecules called enterotoxins. These things are potent compounds, and they're really, really good at messing with a host's internal communication systems.
And here's the kicker. During that final fatal moment of manipulation, the fungus ramps up the production of one of these enterotoxins by more than 12,000 times. That's compared to when it's just growing by itself in a petri dish. I mean, that's not a subtle nudge. It's an overwhelming chemical scream telling the ant's body what to do.
But it's not just one magic bullet. Think of it more like a full-body hijack, a sophisticated chemical assault. The fungus is secreting all these different compounds that mess with everything. The ant's internal clock, its sense of smell, key neurotransmitters like dopamine. It's even causing muscle convulsions and messing with genes related to starvation. It's a total breakdown.
This diagram really helps visualize just how complex this attack is. You don't have to read every single box, but just look at how it's all connected. The fungal compounds are influencing the ant's neurobiology, its behavior, its internal clock. It's all part of this coordinated chemical warfare that leads to that one final fatal act.
So let's look at the bigger picture. As absolutely bizarre as this sounds, the zombie ant isn't a total one-off. This kind of manipulation, it has echoes elsewhere in the natural world. Yeah, check this out. We see a really similar summiting behavior in gypsy moth caterpillars when they're infected by a specific virus. So you've got a fungus infecting an ant and a virus infecting a caterpillar, totally unrelated parasites, and they both force their host to do the same thing, climb up high before they die. Why? Because it's the best way to spread their spores or viral particles down onto the next victim. It's an absolutely wild example of what we call convergent evolution.
And that just leaves you wondering, right? If a single-celled organism can evolve this kind of complex manipulation, what other invisible forces are out there shaping the world around us? It's a powerful reminder that so many of the behaviors we see in nature have these hidden microscopic drivers, orchestrating this incredible drama that we're really only just beginning to understand.